October the 6th, 2023. Guys, you're looking at current images this afternoon over the continental U.S., Mexico, and parts of southern Canada. It's been a cloudy day, light sprinkling here in central Mississippi. The temperature is 73, feels like 68. That's perfect. Can't beat it. A little overcast, not heavy rains or sprinkles, nothing to take us out of the red flag warnings about no burning here in the southeast. But this cool front coming in is really going to help. In the very bottom left, you got a tropical system behind the NOAA logo that's throwing some moisture up over Mexico and into Texas. Guys, these clouds that are coming out of your southeast, it's coming out of the Pacific Ocean. This low pressure system right here is what's pushing this cold air in. Now, Phillipe out here is at a 50-mile-per-hour subtropical storm. It's going to move almost the exact same path as Ophelia, right into Maine and the New Brunswick area. It is expected to pick up speed to about 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds before it gets there, and it's going to be more of a winter storm by then for a couple of reasons. You got this cool front coming in, and the water temperatures I was looking at, guys, are much cooler here than when Ophelia came through, and that tells me that nature's working its course, cooling off the ocean. So that path right in there is much cooler, and so that's going to keep it from getting possibly to a Cat 1. But 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds, are going to throw you over 70-mile-per-hour wind gust into your direction. You're going to combine this, guys. I'm not saying it will be a true nor'easter, but just prepare for that type of event. All of this moisture that's being pushed in with Phillipe, mixing the rain that's being squeezed out by this low-pressure system here, again, moving cooler air in out of Canada, is going to set up some very wintry situations along the northeast coast. Now, let's take a look at where our moisture is, guys. You can see, again, Phillipe here. You've already got moisture building into this section of the northeastern coast being pushed by this low pressure. We're getting some moisture feeding off the Gulf of Mexico further south. And, again, here is your feed coming out of the Pacific Ocean across New Mexico and Texas. Now, here and around this low pressure, guys, we're going to look at the weather reports. It's getting very cold there. And you can see here in the south, guys, we're still under this no burn red flag warning because the winds are going to be picking up. Even though we got the sprinkles this morning, you can see from Louisiana, Mississippi into Alabama, parts of the panhandle of Florida. No burn and then wind warnings here. Offshore, you've got gale warnings, you've got storm warnings all through this area. Here, you've got flood watches. This is where the storm's going to come ashore in this area, so just pay attention for that. Here in the darker blues, freeze warnings. That's a large area, and that's where that low pressure circulating, guys. On the outer in the lighter blues, frost advisories, and then freeze watches here. Check that out. And believe it or not, California, you've got some heat advisories all along the coast. That El Nino is still pushing warmer air from the Pacific Ocean in your direction. In the Great Lakes, you're also dealing with gale warnings. But this, guys, is going to change over the next few days, and you're more than likely going to see these flood watches and warnings move along the coast here. Now, this isn't a huge hurricane, but we are setting up some conditions with the cold weather moving in that we may need to pay attention to. 11 a.m. advisory, still a 50-mile-per-hour post-tropical storm Phillipe, moving north-northeast at 16 miles an hour, 103 millibars pressure. And showing it here this morning, 50 miles per hour. But in the morning at 8 a.m., it's strengthened to a 60-mile-per-hour system, and it's going to continue that track at 60 miles an hour until it starts coming ashore. And you're seeing that by Sunday morning, it's down to 50 miles per hour, and then Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening at 8, 40-mile-per-hour storm. And it may get entangled as it curves back up into Canada with some of this low pressure moisture that we're seeing here. So we're going to have to watch for that. But the tracking is showing it coming ashore on the border of Maine and New Brunswick, and you got the tip of Nova Scotia here. And again, that was the cone, but here are the different models. And what you're dealing with right here is the Canadian model that's kind of centering it more into Maine, and then the Navy model bringing it over the tip of Nova Scotia into New Brunswick. Very similar. Again, all of these are looking like what Ophelia was dealing with. This was updated just about 30 minutes ago. And so anywhere in this area we could see it, but when you're getting close and you got the Navy model coming in here and then the CMC model coming in here, that you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of where it's going to happen. Now remember, the right side of the storm is going to pull the most moisture. We're also dealing with some upper-level wind shear that's going to help keep the strength of the storm dampened down some, but again, you're dealing with 60-mile-per-hour winds, 70-mile-per-hour gust, and cold weather. So just watch for the combination of that. Again, it reminds me of some of the setups we've seen with northeasters, but it would be a low-pressure system moving up the northeast. Maybe not quite as strong as Phillipe, but we're just going to have to keep an eye on it because we've seen the weathers try to get violent along the edges of the warm air and the cold front moving across the U.S. Guys, a quick look at the Canadian model on this thing. Starting today, notice it's weaker, but it gets into the dark blue before it comes ashore. It's telling us it's going from the 50-mile-per-hour storm to 60-mile-per-hour storm. But notice the moisture that's coming up through here, and this goes out to 10 days. This will be on the 16th. Today's the 6th. But as it comes up, loops into Canada, watch what's happening with the low-pressure system we're seeing here. It kind of is pulled into it. See that? Right there. By the 16th, it's setting over you guys in Canada. Now, it's going to be throwing a good bit of moisture as far as the total Atlantic systems into the UK. So watch for this, especially along the northern edges there. And the system that's coming off of Africa appears to be curving back into the Atlantic also. But you're going to have a couple of systems coming into the northeastern U.S. and the southeastern Canada that you need to pay attention to. Old man winter's coming in. And I hope you guys are preparing with alternative methods of heat in case your power go out, in case your total electric or with gas supplies are low or something like that. Definitely think wood burners and a few other things that are out there that you can at least keep yourself from freezing to death. You don't want to see that, and especially when it's wet, cold, and windy. When you're getting 60-mile-per-hour winds plus, a lot of power can be knocked out. We saw that with Ophelia. But, guys, we're going to be watching this. You keep an eye on it. Again, not a hurricane, but it's going to be cool, and just pay attention to it. Current conditions are not bad. You can see the dip where your temperatures are here. Again, we're watching this. I think you're going to drop into the 60s by Sunday evening up around Bangor, Maine, and in the 40s that night. Nothing freeze or anything, but with that wind coming in and that moisture, just be very careful. But we are starting to see winter trying to take over. And to be honest with you, I'm very glad that it is, because it's been miserable here in the southeast this summer. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.